Light FM.
So hey, we're Covey and Christine from the morning show on Light FM. Covey, super special guest today. This man has won a Grammy. He's an incredible artist. He's an actor. He is a singer. He has won a Tony for playing Aaron Burr in Hamilton, which we finally got to see thanks to Disney Plus. Welcome, Leslie Odom Jr. Hi.
Guys,
So nice to see you.
good to see you on this fine morning. You know, I feel like the goalpost has moved a lot closer for a lot of us. This morning, I've made breakfast for my kid. She didn't spill her cereal all over the kitchen. I stopped her from spilling her cereal all over the living room floor. Like, there's major wins already today.
I think you can relate to getting the baby up and going and all the things we're doing working at home.
Yeah, Leslie, you're a little ahead of me. I have a 9-month-old, and how old is your daughter?
My girl is 3.5. You have a girl or a boy?
I have a girl, and she just started crawling, and I'm wondering, what do I have to look forward to in the next couple of months?
I mean, well, you have it all to look forward to. But it's, I don't know if you guys find this, but you know, we're a different kind of parent than our parent. We're parenting these kids a lot different than we were parented, you know, so everything just takes a little longer in my house because, you know, there really is we don't spank, you know, we don't spank. And so kids are all about, you know, they're testing their limits and they want to know, well, you know, or else what? Like, you know, don't do that, or else what? You know, so yeah, we're figuring out our or else's, you know, but she's a really intelligent kid, empathetic kid. I think when you don't have those kinds of consequences, they mature a lot faster because they have to come to those apologies and rectifying things on their own, you know.
Right.
Things just take a little longer.
A lot to look forward to. Right now, I'm just busy chasing her. I guess the rules and stuff will come later.
Yeah, it's so fun, man. It's the best. We're gonna talk about music and stuff too, but really my favorite job is being Lucy's dad and Nicolette's husband. That's for sure.
Well, I'm sure you're pretty good at it because you're good at everything else. Do you ever pinch yourself and realize, like, wow, I've done a lot of great things?
Man, every now and again I do. Every now and again the fact that I get to make my living doing this thing that I love, that I'm passionate about, but also that's a lot of fun for me. I bet you guys feel that too, right? You know, every night I feel very, very lucky.
Yeah, feel very grateful. Your Christmas album is out now and it's sounding absolutely wonderful. Last Christmas, Cubby and I were listening to that this morning. We loved it. When did you record that? Get yourself like into Christmas mode?
That was in the middle of everything, you know. I was on tour. I was on the road for my original album, Mister, that I put out at the end of last year. I did 2 stops on my tour. We opened in LA, we went to Vegas, and then COVID, like everybody else, you know, caught us all in the middle of something. So I had to shut everything down, which, you know, I kind of just wanted to be home and hold my family close. And, you know, we didn't know how serious this thing was going to get, how close it was going to get to home. But 2-3 months later, when we're in the house kind of twiddling our thumbs and we'd kept ourselves relatively safe and healthy. I was ready to get back to work and I got my COVID tests and I got the band back together, so to speak. And the same collaborators that I made that album with, instead of going on the road, we made another record. So around June or July is when we started. Yeah.
And of all the Christmas songs you could have redone, how come that one?
I have always loved that song. And I have to admit, you know, because I'd never sang it before, I never knew how kind of, you know, sassy and saucy it is. You know what I mean? He's like, the last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you tore it apart, or you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. So you're not special.
A little revenge.
But it's just groovy. You know, George Michael is groovy, and after Hamilton, if you could believe it or not, the thing that I hear the most about in my career is my Christmas album, my very first Christmas album. So we wanted to make something else for that audience, for the people that loved that first album. But I did want this one to groove more. That first one is sentimental and emotional, and that's where I was as an artist at that time. This one is, you can dance a little bit more to this one than you could to the first one.
Oh, it's definitely fun. And your quarantine has been in LA, correct? But you're
Is in LA, yes.
yeah, but you're a New Yorker at heart. I'm wondering if you're going to miss Christmas in New York.
I will. I'll get to make it to New York for a couple of press moments for the album. So it'll be the first plane that I've gotten on in 8 months, which is very rare for me. But yeah, I'm gonna get tested, of course, as soon as I land. Get tested. When I get back, I'll quarantine a bit. It is important though. It's important. There's family that I need to see on that coast, and there are just some important things that I need to do on that coast. So I'll get to see it a little bit. I know New York is feeling very different though than it has in the past.
With Broadway being such a big part of your life, and so many people out of work right now, do you have friends that you've talked to? How are they staying upbeat through all this? Do you have any positivity for them? And what can you say to these incredibly talented people that currently don't have jobs?
Well, first and foremost, I just we commiserate. We sit in it. We accept it. We talk about how challenging and how hard it is, and then right after that, the next breath, really, I remind them that creators create, and we will use our imaginations, we will innovate, we will create our way out of this. What I'm seeing already with friends of mine, 8 months into the thing, is like, okay, so if this is the only connection that I have to an audience, okay, what are the limits of my creativity? How high can I go in this box? How low can I go in this? If this is all I have, for those that are listening, I'm using the Zoom window. This is all we have, then how creative can we get? How innovative can we get within this little rectangle? So that's what we're doing. We're making the best of things in the meantime.
Yeah, you've got a book out called Failing Up. So I imagine you're sharing your story. I think there's going to be some inspiration there as well.
Yeah. I wrote the book. I didn't intend to write a book so soon, but the publishers had been watching me. Fywell and Friends, they're really sweet little publishing company in the city, and they had seen how passionate I was about work with young people, with high school age kids, and college age is really where I feel most passionate about. Really, it's a completion of the circle. That's where I got some of the most the best advice for my career as an artist, and the training that I got at that time in my life. It really is a healing thing, and sort of a special thing for me to close the loop of my life in that way, and pay it forward and pass on some of the things that I've learned, and some of the things that my teachers gave to me, some of whom aren't here anymore, so I get to pass on some of their wisdom. So they came to me and they said, would you write a book? Why don't you write a book in the form of a commencement address? You can write it like a graduation speech. And so that really set me free. And we've gotten great feedback about the book.
This is amazing. We've been talking to you for like 5 minutes, and we've talked about albums you've done. We've talked about books, and we got a movie happening opening night in Miami on Christmas Day. Tell us about that.
Oh yes, it's directed by Academy Award winning sensation phenom Regina King. She just won an Emmy for her work in The Watchmen. She's a brilliant artist, and she's expanding. This is her first feature length film that she's directing, and it tells a true story of Cassius Clay, his first heavyweight championship bout in 1964. No one expected Cassius to win this fight against Sonny Liston, except Cassius, of course. And so there's no victory party planned in Miami. So he spent the evening hanging out in a hotel room with his three closest friends, Malcolm X, Jim Brown, Sam Cooke. I play Sam Cooke in this movie. It supposes what the men might have talked about in the room where it happened, as it were. And it's a very project, and it comes to Amazon Prime on January 15th, but opens on Christmas Day in limited theaters, drive-in. I saw it at a drive-in 2 weeks ago. It's really special.
That's great.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so you opened the door to Hamilton for us. And I know for you it's a few years ago. For a lot of us it's new because we finally got to see it. We've been listening to the music for all these years and loving it. We couldn't obviously all squeeze into the Broadway theater. Seeing it on television, it was filmed beautifully. It was such a wonderful, wonderful experience. I mean, I don't know where to begin on how that has changed your life and shaped your life.
I don't really know where to begin either. You know, it continues on, as you said, with the beautiful, faithful preservation of the work that Tommy Kail, our director, worked tirelessly to give us, that preservation of the work. And it's really special because we just lost Howell Binkley, who's our lighting designer on the show. Howell passed away probably 2.5, 3 months ago. He's the first of us. He's the first of our family to transition in that way. But Howell's work is preserved forever, and we'll all eventually go the way that Howell went. And so to have this record here of this thing that we made for our children, for the business, for students, because I think something special happened at the Richard Rodgers Theater in 2015 when this show happened. I think that it was, we rang the bell, we shook the table. So to have that preserved, I don't want to flatter myself too much or flatter what we did. I have no doubt, there's no doubt in my mind that someday some kid is going to write the show that makes Hamilton look quaint. Somebody's going to write the show that makes Hamilton look like Oklahoma at some point. But it was a moment in time, and it was, we ran our leg of the race. So I'm glad that it exists in this way for people to see for generations.
So where do you keep your Grammy and your Tony? Are they nearby?
They're not super nearby, but they're in the dining room. We have some built-in shelves in this little house we live in, and they live there. And enough for me to I can catch a periphery glance every now and again, but it's not something I stare at all day long.
Right. Yeah. I used to do a morning show, believe it or not, with Whoopi Goldberg, and I went to her house one time, and she let me hold her Grammy, and I couldn't get over how heavy it was. It's small but heavy.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, Whoopi's one of the few that has the
EGOT.
She's got all four. For people that don't know, that's the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, and the Tony. Whoopi Goldberg has all four. Lin-Manuel is an even shorter list. He has he can quite possibly, he will. Because he has the Pulitzer, they call it the PGOT. Because, that's an even smaller list of people that have all four plus the Pulitzer Prize.
Are you trying for the EGOT, or do you, if it happens, it happens? It's not like a goal, or is it? Or
it happens. I mean, I have to tell you the fact that I have the Tony and the Grammy is like a little more than I thought really imagined for myself. I just wanted to be a working artist. I just wanted to make a living doing this thing that I loved so much. I thought I was going to do Rent was the show that brought me to the theater. My wildest dream as a teenager was that I would get into Rent and that I would do that show forever. That I would get into Rent and stay in that show for 15 or 20 years and then I could not imagine that there was something bigger than that.
Yeah, unreal.
Well, Leslie, you've got the most going on for anybody in quarantine that we have spoken to, because I just want to mention everything. You've got the Christmas album, the book, Failing Up, part of the TV series Love in the Time of Corona.
Yeah, we shot that in quarantine. Yeah, that's on Hulu now. They came to us, my wife and I, and they asked us if we went. They were, Freeform. That was a show for Freeform, and they were trying to figure out how to, proceed. And at that time, the way that they thought was best was to bring cameras to actors' homes. So they were looking at 2 actors who were quarantined together. So it was a very short list, and they came to us, and we helped. We came on as producers and really helped shape our storyline. And it's a special thing. I also did that the collaboration with Sia too, Cold.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about that. Tell us about that.
That was it was a really nice, a really nice consolation prize. As I said, the tour got canceled, and everybody told me, you're going to make an original album. Well, you can't just put that out and expect people to find their way to it. You have to tour the album. You have to travel the country and get it in front of people's faces. And so that was the plan. Fast forward, it gets canceled. But Sia loved the album, and Cold was her favorite song. I sent her a message kind of half jokingly, like, well, if you ever want to hop on a duet version of it, let me know. And she didn't know I was joking. And so she said yes, thank God. Jesse Shatkin produced it. Jesse Shatkin also produced Chandelier for Sia. And so it is this, they took this song that I already loved very much and made it something that I love even more.
Hey, just a few more questions before we wrap up. I have to ask, you're from Queens and we are in holiday mode right now. What memory do you connect with New York and like Christmas time?
Most recently, because the past, some of the most special times in my life most recently was as a performer, in New York, when Broadway is back up and running. And I hope once it is, everybody rushes out to buy a ticket to see a Broadway show. We will certainly need that. The industry will need that. But, you're kind of like theme park performers, that, when the rest of the country really is taking it easy and taking a step back for the holidays, Broadway really ramps up during the holidays, because that's when people are coming to New York City and they want to see the Rockettes. They want to see Hamilton. They want to see their favorite Broadway shows. So, those are the most special recent memories. My wife also did a Broadway show, I guess 2 years ago now, Waitress on Broadway. We were in New York again during the holidays. And so, I just love that. I love, entertaining people while they're still full of turkey or while they're still full of ham, you know what I mean? And we kind of get our makeshift holiday whenever we can get it. But to feel useful, I guess what that is, to feel like you are part of people's family traditions, you're part of their holiday tradition, and you can give them a very special memory that they might not forget. Those are my favorite.
Wow. Christine.
And, I just want to ask Leslie, what your Christmas wish is for this year, moving forward into 2021.
My Christmas wish, let me see. Oh, what's my Christmas wish? Man, I want healing in the land, I want healing in the land. And so part of that I think starts with just imagining it. We have to hold a picture of what that might look like, because it's not just healing within our bodies, it's healing within our communities. And we just have to just hold a picture of what that looks like. And I'll do it too. I'll hold it with you.
Well said. Is it safe to say we covered everything?
I think we covered everything, man.
Oh man, you're a busy man, and you cannot be cooler. By the way, Christine said, "Well, I've interviewed Leslie Odom Jr. and he's the best." And
you're gonna love him. I told you. Yes. Absolutely. We did an appearance together at the Shops at Columbus Circle, which now feels like a dream. I can't wait till we can do those kinds of things again. See you performing live and meeting your fans. It was a great experience.
For that, it'll happen again. It'll happen again. We'll gather live together again.
Leslie, God bless, and thank you for being a part of this. And we love you, man. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you, guys.
106.7 Lights FM.